Emily?
Hi, great to be with you. So we have seen a busy night here in Israel, but I'll get to that in just a moment, because first I want to talk about what happened last night with the United States. We saw major strikes, a major escalation targeting Kharg Island. Now, this is a key strategic site in this conflict because it accounts for approximately 90% of the oil exports for the Islamic Republic of Iran, a major site. Now, President Trump stated that all military sites on that island were struck last night by U.S. forces. However, the oil infrastructure on the island has been left intact, perhaps as a threat to the Islamic Republic regarding the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, at the same time, we've seen the IDF carrying out heavy strikes throughout the weekend and right now in the cities of Tehran, Tabriz, Shiraz, and many other Iranian cities, targeting those IRGC ballistic missile sites and other regime infrastructure. We also saw over the weekend IDF strikes on Basij and IRGC checkpoints throughout major Iranian cities. Now, these are the same checkpoints that are used to monitor and intimidate Iranian citizens who would otherwise take to the streets to protest, a tactic that the regime has used for many years to suppress those protests. Now, all this being said, the regime is continuing to fire missiles. We saw overnight rocket fire here in central Israel in the middle of the night, sending millions of Israelis to bomb shelters at about 2 in the morning. That was a cluster munition attached to a ballistic missile. There were several sites of impact and multiple injuries from that. And over the weekend, we've seen a huge increase of missile attacks from Hezbollah on the northern front. This is a proxy, of course, of that Islamic regime. They fired over 1,000 projectiles since they joined this operation formally. And we saw actually Muslim Israeli town Zarzir hit by one of these missiles from Hezbollah, injuring 60 people over the weekend. Of course, we've also seen the Islamic Republic continue to fire at the UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and other countries in the Gulf. Those are ongoing attacks. And this morning, regime officials threatened to respond to the United States by stating that they would target energy infrastructure in some of those countries that's linked to the U.S., such as the UAE. Now, incidentally, it's important to note that the UAE has been on the receiving end of significantly more, hundreds more ballistic missiles and drone attacks from the Islamic regime than even Israel has as one of the combatants in this war. So interesting developments for sure. We'll continue to keep you updated, certainly not dull here in Israel, in Tel Aviv, or in northern Israel, where millions continue to be under fire throughout the day. For now, back to you.
Never a dull moment over there, Emily. But I want to just go back to Kharg Island for a little bit there, because you spoke about the U.S. avoiding the oil facilities on the island. Do you think, and is there a chance that they may be hit? And if they do, what kind of implications would there be?
I mean, at this point, it's really too early to say. We see a lot of talk from the Islamic regime. This is the tactic that they use. We don't know what President Trump's intentions are with this. Certainly, he's trying to use this, at least at this point, as some sort of a tool of leverage to push the regime to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and to not interfere with the transfer of, energy infrastructure that's needed for so many countries around the world. But it remains to be seen what will happen with that. I think we're still in the early stages. We have seen a strong reaction from the regime with the threats to continue to target the UAE. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll see.
Emily, real quick, what's the mood on the ground in Tel Aviv? I mean, are people looking at this as, okay, we're coming to the end of it? Is it still a very tense situation? What's the mood of the average person?
Well, I think Israelis are still very united in being in favor of this operation. We know it's a threat that needs to be eliminated. However, I would say in central Israel, the mood is a little bit more calm than what we're seeing in the north right now. In the north, literally every few minutes, there are sirens going off. And unlike the ballistic missiles, which the state of Israel actually provides an advanced warning in many cases, many of those towns, especially on the northern border, don't get those warnings. They just get a siren, leaving them, up to a minute max in some cases to get to shelter from some of the missiles coming in. So it's definitely more tense, I would say, on the northern front. Here, we've seen a significant reduction in the amount of ballistic missiles that the Islamic Republic has succeeded in firing at this area. I know there's a lot of interceptions going on over other territories as well. So part of that is protecting the state of Israel as well, including from countries you might not expect, with Jordan and Saudi Arabia, because, of course, we're all under threat from the Islamic regime.
Certainly. All right. Emily Schrader, thank you very much. We appreciate having you on. Stay safe.